Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Jedi, Sith, Twi'leks, Mandalorians, and everything and everybody in between. This is another edition of the Clone War Report brought to you by the new Force Order
for life
podcast. We are a Star Wars podcast, and tonight we're coming to you with our Clone War review show called the Clone War Report. I am 1/3 of the New Force Order. I am your boy GGP, aka Greek God Paparon. Alongside with me, I have two very fine, distinguished gentlemen who are going to let you know their analysis of the latest episode of the Clone War Report. One of them never looks into the goddamn camera, collects toys, and is smart, pretty witty. And the other guy, the other guy's sitting in his bat cave right now. He just mutilated and skewered Robin, told Alfred to go to bed and take some Geritol because he's pissed. He's vindictive, sadistic. He is a person who is full of rational rage, a Sith Lord. Everybody, introduce yourselves.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am the Dark Lord of the podcast, the Sith Ari, the Rampaging Reverend Kiss, the Butcher, your boy Spiro, aka Darth Spyridon.
And I am smarter than 21B, more technical than FX7, the God of Stealing Thunder, and the guy who does not recommend drinking bleach or injecting disinfectants, despite what Old Orange says. Dr. Destroyo, Alex Arroyo.
Well, there, folks. That has been your PSA of the day. Do not drink disinfectants and bleach, even though some of you guys sure hell do deserve it. But that's a story for another time. Tonight we're talking about episode 10. That's right, that guy. How do you say 10 in Spanish?
Yes.
Diaz. There we go. I brain fart.
That's also where Greeks take it up the
Diaz? Nice.
Diaz.
Hey, fucking forget about this guy over here.
I'm on a roll.
We'll call you Butter, baby. Anyway, we're talking about episode 10 from season 7 of the Clone Wars. This was part 2 of the Siege of Mandalore. The name of the episode was called The Phantom Apprentice. Boys, in one word, let us know what you thought of the episode.
Stupendous.
Amazing.
Horrible. Just kidding.
Right.
I can't even work you guys with that. It was fantastic. This episode was like the Carol Baskin, that bitch Carol Baskin of the Clone Wars, because it fucking killed it. It was amazing.
Yeah, but it wasn't in secret. It was in plain day.
It was in plain sight. Absolutely. We thought last week was good. This was the perfect follow-up, in my opinion, to the first part.
Blew it out of the water. Oh, fantastic.
Oh.
Top to bottom, from the beginning to the very end. Amazing.
How many times did you guys watch the episode?
Once.
Unfortunately, once, man. But another word that I would use to describe the episode is not even a word, a fucking name. Maul. Fucking Maul, bro. The fucking voice actor, man, he's
Sam
fucking...
Witwer is perfect.
Yeah,
perfect.
Perfect, yes. Perfect, indeed, man.
Yeah. It would be dope if we can get him on this show. There's no words that can justify this episode. This episode was, in my opinion, an epic follow-up, very cinematic. I actually watched it 3 times,
Jeez.
Actually 2.5, because on the third showing I kind of fell asleep because I was tired. I took a little napski. My old age, I needed it. But I actually watched last week's episode and followed it up with this week's episode. And
Seamless.
Seamless. It felt like a movie. And we're only halfway through the movie.
Yeah.
So,
well, I think we knew from the beginning, though, this was going to run like a movie. This was going to have no breaks in between. It's going to go straight through, right to the end. And I could not be happier about that. You know, they started Clone Wars with a movie, and then they're going to end the Clone Wars with a movie. Hopefully not, though, based on some recent tweets that we talked about last week.
It's like a sandwich. You know what I mean? They're like an Oreo cookie. But anyway, Doc, since you're the narrator, narrate your
the recapper.
Come on, Mr. Recap.
So it starts with where we left off last week with Ahsoka with her blades drawn and Maul kind of at the high ground hovering above her, and then they go through their little diatribe where I was expecting Kenobi. Little did we, Tano, exactly. And apparently, I've heard of you. So they're going through their little diatribe, and what they fire down upon Ahsoka, and she starts to knock out some of the Mandalorians, and Maul jumps down there, and they have a little bit of a little kerfuffle over there. Where we get some lightsaber stuff happening. It ends pretty abruptly with the Captain Rex and some of the clones coming in to save Ahsoka after they heard her distress signal. Maul takes off.
Wait, before he takes off, he says the dopest line. Not yet.
Yep. Maul takes off after throwing Captain. Well, he's Commander Rex. General Rex, I don't know.
Commander Rex, yes, correct.
General Erection. Throws him on top of Ahsoka, knocks them out, and then kind of dips out with the Mandalorians, who are his boys. What was that one guy's name?
Saxon.
Saxon. There you go. That's the one.
Gar Saxon, yeah.
So they take off.
And to touch base on what Spiro asked last week, he didn't turn face. He was the one that was who was in Rebels, was down with the Empire when Mandalore was in charge, being I guess after the Purge, he was put in place as a puppet leader who had ties with the Empire. So anyway, go on.
Cool.
So they dip off. Ahsoka rejoins Bo-Katan, and they make a little call ski to Obi-Wan Kenobi and talk about what's been happening there on their side versus what's been happening on their side. So, before that, Maul mentions the mastermind behind all of the what's been happening, and it's our boy Darth Sidious, which apparently no one has heard of previously. We've got little drips and drabs about it here and there when we saw through the movies, but Maul drops the hint that he's that he seems to be against Darth Sidious in this whole situation here. Ahsoka mentions Darth Sidious to Obi-Wan, and Obi-Wan kind of gives him the eyebrow raise. And they said that they heard that name before, but it came out of the mouth of a different Darth Tyrannus, aka Count Dooku. And they said, well, let's get information out of him. And then Obi-Wan lets us know where we are in the grand scheme of the timeline at that point. He goes, well, we can't because Count Dooku is dead because Anakin just killed him. Much to the shock of Ahsoka Tano when he admits that. So we are smack dab in the middle of Revenge of the Sith right now, where this is happening simultaneously while that is happening, which I thought was very interesting because now we have an overlap. We had assumed that this show was going to end and then lead directly into Revenge of the Sith. Oh, it is not. It is concurrent with Revenge of the Sith, which leaves the possibilities now that happen in this. It puts us in a box, but it puts us in this beautiful box that we know that now we could do things and potentially see things that we didn't think we were going to see if we were going to end before the beginning of Revenge of the Sith. So that part itself popped me huge. I got really, really fucking excited for the potential that could show up for that. We could see Ahsoka versus some of the clones. We could see, some turn against them and what happens to her, which I think is going to probably play into the end of this arc. But I'm really, really excited for all that portion of what was revealed in that one little split second, mentioned by Obi-Wan Kenobi. And then he talks about him getting dispatched to Utapau, where we know that he's gonna have his duel with Count Dooku. I'm sorry, with General Grievous, where he delivers our favorite line, "Hello there,
General Kenobi.
Hello there." So,
General Kenobi.
hello there. Did you see that there was
General
a video?
Kenobi.
There was a video of there was a video of somebody had hello there said like in 700 different languages. I think it was like went on and on and on for like an hour worth of hello there's. It was great. I'll send you guys the YouTube clip. But so it leaves us with a world of possibilities.
Greek. Can you picture in Greek? Yasufre malaka. Yasufre levendi. Anyway, go on.
So they asked Obi-Wan for more help, and he cannot provide them with any more help. They got what they got. They leave the meeting and they go back.
Wait. Before they leave the meeting, she asked for the like you said, for more help. Because unfortunately I can't send you more men. She says, "Well, send me Skywalker, send me Anakin," and he goes, "Let me speak to Ahsoka privately." Yep. And then tells her the mission that Anakin has to do, which is to spy on the Chancellor.
Yeah.
And she calls him out on it. "You mean you're asking him to spy?" And he hit her with the same line hits in the movie where they say the Senate allowed him to stay in position after his term is over, and we want to find out what exactly he's up to. So I thought it was pretty cool.
Yep. He pulled a Mike Bloomberg in the New York City where he changed the rules and became the Supreme Chancellor.
You mean Palpatine was trying to ban extra large slushies and sodas?
Dude, it was the worst, man. You remember that when that was happening? It's terrible.
Jesus Christ. You know what? We thought it was bad then. That is nothing to compare
now.
Yeah. Right? There's nothing compared to what's going on now.
Anyway, so they leave and they go back to the throne room for some reason. No, actually, sorry, I'm lying. We get a report from Captain Rex, or Commander Rex now that Maul had taken one of the clones. What's his name? Joshua? Yeah, something like
was
Dylan?
It a tree? No,
Dylan.
Jesse,
Dylan.
Dude.
Jesse. I knew it was some white boy's name.
Jesse.
Yes, it was. Joshua Jackson, something. And he kept him alive because he's one of the older clones. He thinks he has information. And then we see Jesse, trying valiantly to not tip his hat and tell Maul any information. He's like, "It's so quaint that you think that you could hide this from me." And then he, does the fucking Texas tornado claw on his head and gives him the head claw.
He does the Kylo Ren move, dude. That shit was dope.
By the way, if you have small children and you put them on the fucking iron claw, it is the greatest move ever to do to them. Hell yeah. They instantly respect you.
I do it all the fucking time.
It's a great one.
And it works.
That and the tilt-a-whirl suplex. They love that shit. So he extracts the information from them, figures out, what the plan is, what the deal is, and then Maul is sitting on his on the throne as they come back into the throne room, Bo-Katan and Ahsoka and the rest of the clones.
Like a boss.
Legs up. Looks like Joe Exotic sitting there with the fucking with the pet tiger clone trooper that he has sitting beside him. So nice of you to join me. I'm doing a poor Sam Witwer impersonation here. I thought that was a great part of the episode where we see him kind of sitting there and then him trying to strike up a deal with them and trying to explain the whole Darth Sidious thing to them, and I'm on your side, blah blah blah.
But and not for nothing though, not to cut you off, Doc, but just I mean, I know you're giving us the overlay here, but the fact that Bo-Katan started charging him and started blasting him, and he was like, Jesus. Boom, and the blast with the force, they're going left, it's going right. It's like a guy trying to pee after he busts a nut, just going all over the place.
Dude. That is a known fact. You are correct.
And then picks her up and starts choking her like with the force, holding her in the force, like he did with her sister Satine. Same exact thing. Right before he gutted her, and then drops her, and then he starts telling him the gimmick. And the best is when the war happened. He goes, "I think you guys should take care of that." And then Both bounces, then it's just left between
Ahsoka and Maul.
Ahsoka and Maul. What a dope scene, though, dude.
Oh.
What a dope scene.
And listen, the episode was great up until then, and then it got really fucking great after that. It was like just the two of them together.
Just when you had all the questions, we changed all the answers.
We changed all the answers, baby. So the conversation they have, basically the gist of it is Maul, in his Sithly ways, as we see Star Wars is cyclical, is asking Ahsoka to join him, to fight him against Darth Sidious.
You mean it's like poetry, it rhymes, right?
He explains to him that Sidious is grooming his new apprentice. And Ahsoka's like, well, who? It's
his sister. No, I'm kidding.
Sister. So, as we know, it's Anakin. And she goes, that's impossible! No way it's Anakin.
And that bitch's like, you don't know Anakin. No, bitch, you don't know him.
Yeah.
Nah. It was like Joey. It was like Joey Buttafuoco's wife. Not my Joey.
Well, before that, he had asked her that if we joined forces, just like the whole Vader and Luke Skywalker thing, together we can defeat Darth Sidious. And then she was talking about balance of the Force and asked him why he's after Anakin. And she goes, do you want to kill Anakin because he can bring balance to the Force? And what did he say to her?
No, he's going to destroy.
Yeah, no, yeah, not destroy. What did he said? He said, I can't, top of my head, I can't remember what he said to her.
Well, first of all, you thought that, I mean, it was an echo of sort of the Luke Vader scenario, the Anakin Padme scenario. But when the window broke and all that stuff started flying in the atmosphere, and the way he stuck his hand out, you didn't feel it was exactly like The Last Jedi with Kylo and Rey, with all the debris flying in the background. And
I honestly had more of a kickback to Empire Strikes Back, where they had that similar window where she broke and stuff was flying out there before they went to the scaffolding scene. And then they did a scaffolding scene right after that. So for me, it definitely had echoes to both from over there. But I agree. It definitely had echoes back to Last Jedi as well.
Because, I mean, last episode, it had an echo to Last Jedi, too. I mean, with Anakin being gunned down by the entire enemy force, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And being just like we said last week. So it was funny that both episodes have echoes of Spiro's favorite movie, The Last Jedi.
Yeah, I think it's
almost like they're trying to
make it better in your eyes.
Yeah, exactly. There we go.
Make it more palatable for you.
They keep trying, man. They keep trying, but no fucking dice.
It's like a parent putting the diamond tap or the amoxicillin inside the orange juice so the kid could take it. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Clorox.
Exactly. So initially, when he pulls his hands out to Ahsoka and says, "Join me," we're all sitting back like this is never going to happen. But then we think about the name of the episode, the Phantom Padawan, and I'm like, wait a minute. Which one of you guys called this last week, by the way? I think Spiro was the one who called this.
Yeah, right.
And then she says, "I will join you, but first tell me why you want to go after Anakin." And that's when the shit hit the fan. She says, "No, that's not the case. Obviously, he wants to kill Anakin. He started this war to bring Kenobi and Skywalker to him so he can kill Skywalker," which I thought was great.
Yeah, to prevent him from becoming
his new Padawan,
his new apprentice. Yeah,
yeah.
Dude, I like how it's like very chess-like. You know what I mean? Like very dope. Anyway.
Yep. We should do a what if he succeeded in that mission, by the way, and to see what happens down that path. I thought about that as well when I was watching it. And then they start dueling inside of the little throne room over there. I gotta say, I really love the way the lightsabers move in the Clone Wars. They have this kind of like this almost like this dance-like feel to them when you see them kind of spinning and the trail it leaves.
Do you guys know about that whole scene? It was Ray Park in mocap.
Oh, he did really?
Yeah. That was Ray Park. That's why the the movement and everything looked just like him right out of the movie.
I was gonna say, I was like, they animated that very, very well. This is why he was in that mocap suit a couple of months ago when he posted that picture.
Yeah.
And that was that very cryptic photo. That's fantastic.
Well, I don't know if it's a cryptic photo because when you're doing the mocap, you don't need all the makeup and stuff. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? But he also took a picture with him dressed up with the makeup and all that stuff. So maybe there's more. Maybe there's more to it. Maybe it's to Mandalorian or something. Who knows?
Yeah.
Or anyway, go on.
So they're going at it, and that part was dope where he pulls the saber out and sits back and goes, "It seems the Padawan needs one final lesson."
Yeah.
And flip back over and then fucking did the episode 1 where he pulled out the saber and put it in front of him and then lit both sides. And he had like the fucking, and then when he did that move where he pulled his hand back, I was like, that is very Ray Parkish. And that makes complete sense that it was actually Ray Parkish because they did the mocap on him. But that was exactly, I mean, you know, listen, you watch the guy in fucking, in so many things, you get used to his movements like a good lover. Anyway, they go at it. Ahsoka gets the best of him and then knocks him out the window. And I thought one of the dope parts of that was when he falls out the window, he still had the blade ignited and it splits the window on the sides. It gives the wings in the window.
Very Warner Brothers Bugs Bunny Acme. You know what I mean?
But still true to life because he's holding, you know, the greatest weapon in the history of sci-fi fantasy. So she chases him out there, and then
I have to correct you, Doc. I'm sorry not to cut you off again.
Yes.
It's not the greatest weapon in sci-fi fantasy. It's the greatest weapon in movie history of all time.
Baby. So let's see. So she jumps out after him and they wind up on that scaffolding, which I already was like, all right, this is going to be fucking fantastic. There's like, you know, a foot's length in between the pathway there, and they're gonna now battle upon that, which is something that we really haven't seen before with lightsabers. And then you got two of the probably most skilled force wielders when it comes to, I would say, balance and the arts and acrobatics. Exactly. Although there was line one. Sorry, I'm gonna go back for a second. There was one line that really popped me when they were fighting inside the throne room where Ahsoka's like, you know, getting the best of him a little bit here and there. And he goes, "And you wanted Skywalker here?" Yeah. Like just fucking totally egging him on. Like that he would have got the shit kicked out of him if Anakin was here. And he's putting up no fight against her.
Just because I'm a Maul mark, and to be fair, I would say the reason why he wasn't fighting at 100% would be that he was very clouded. You know what I'm saying? Like, because he wasn't really focused. He was expecting Kenobi. So the fact that the Kenobi wasn't there and Skywalker wasn't there, I would say that he was upset and his feelings weren't 100% focused on the fight. That was just me trying to make up excuses as to why he wasn't, wiping the floor with her. But anyway, go on.
Yeah, he could have also been trying to spare her in hopes of maybe turning her too, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, man.
But listen, it's just like a professional fighter. If you're preparing for one guy for 6 weeks or 8 weeks, and suddenly the week before the fight, they pull that guy out and then they put somebody new in for you, your preparation is completely different. Exactly. Your headspace is different. You got to change your fighting style. Maybe now this guy's a wrestler and not a boxer, so things completely change.
Well, we all know one thing for sure. It doesn't matter for you, Doc, because you could take any guy at any time. And you have.
I'll take 3 at a time if that's the case.
$60.
$20 is $20.
Nah, it's $50. They get $10 off when it comes to the deal.
Oh, they get that early bird special, huh?
No, it's the package deal.
Nice.
You got to give the customers a discount. So that line though popped me when she said that. You expect this guy where he wouldn't stand a chance. So then they're out in the scaffolding and then the shit really hits the fucking fan. They're going at it. Back and forth, balancing, falling, coming back up. Really like, getting into the nitty gritty, jumping behind each other, doing all the fucking, video game shit, which is great. And then he splits the scaffolding and traps her kind of on the part that's kind of leaning down. And then is just kind of walking her down. Which in reality, he should have just split the fucking, like Spiro said, I think he was trying to turn her even then. because he could have gotten her by just splitting the bottom and cutting the rest of it loose and letting her drop down, which would have made perfect sense. The ship comes to grab him. He sees his exit, but he still again is trying to turn her. And then the clones kind of come through, and she knocks him off the platform, but then reaches out and saves him with the Force. And he's like, "No, let me die."
Yeah.
Poor Maul again is, denied his death. And then the clones show up, wrap him up, and finally, we've only seen it twice before in Star Wars history. They hit him with the fucking stun beam.
Yeah, but his rant right before that. Like,
Yeah.
what are you doing? We're all gonna burn. We're all gonna die. You don't know what you're doing. Oh,
and he's
my
right.
God.
He's 100% right. I mean,
Yo, you know what, man? Right then and there, I was thinking, you know what? Could we blame Ahsoka maybe for fucking Order 66 happening and shit? Because, at the end of the day, man, he's only looking out for himself. But Maul might have had a chance. Yeah, he might have had a fucking chance to fucking kill Sidious, maybe stop Anakin, or maybe try to kill Anakin. Anakin kills him, but Ahsoka still kind of being there to help him not completely turn. I don't know, man. But
well, look, if around Thanksgiving or beginning of December, or even around Christmas, I would have told you guys, guess what? 2020 is gonna suck. We're gonna be stuck in our house. People are gonna die. We're going to have to wear a mask to go out of the house. Some kind of sickness, virus is going to go around. We're all going to be slaves to it. You'd have been like, dude, stop with the conspiracy nonsense. You know what I mean? And what happened? It's going down. So when Maul had his vision about Skywalker, he was spot on with everything.
but
no one wanted to believe him because he's Maul. So, you know what I mean? It is what it is, unfortunately. But what's he going to do after everything's done? Aha! I told you. No, he's not. You know what I mean? So I did like the fact that there's two parts in the battle that I popped for. Two little things. I mean, I popped for the whole thing. But at one point when she threw her lightsaber when in the throne room, and it came back like a boomerang, and he split his legs and they came underneath him. You know what I'm saying? That was a dope move, and it looked dope cinematically. And that's right before she dropped that line about Anakin. And then when they were fighting on the beam and he knocks both lightsabers out of her hands.
Yep.
So she loses both her sabers. But right before the second one goes, she tries to slice his hand off and he pulls his hand back and then hits the hand and she drops the second saber. I thought that was really dope. Those little key things. It's those little things like in a wrestling match.
Extremely well done. Extremely well done. I mean, top to bottom, this episode was the best one so far.
Would you say that that's one of the greatest Star Wars fights of all time?
I would. I love the backdrop. I love the banter between the two of them. I love the fact that, she really got him really fucking riled up for it. And I think it's definitely one of the best Star Wars lightsaber battles of all time.
I was going to ask you guys. I was going to ask you guys the same question, and I got to say, to the best of my recollection, this is probably my favorite one.
Gotcha.
For everything that Doc said.
It's definitely not my favorite, but it's definitely up there. My favorite battle, I think the greatest battle of all time in Star Wars history, and this is just my opinion.
Obi-Wan versus Anakin.
Absolutely. Obi-Wan versus Anakin, you thunder-stealing prick. And then this is up there. This could be number 2 or number 3. I know Vader versus Luke in Return of the Jedi has more emotion behind it.
Yep.
Obviously, because it's father and son, and it's the last one between the two of them. The battle on the Death Star wreckage was dope. So was the Obi-Wan Maul one from Rebels. I thought that was fucking dope. But also the Ahsoka Vader one too had a lot of fucking weight.
Oh yeah,
emotionally too. So Doc, have you ever seen that clip?
I have.
Oh, when that music drops and she goes, "I'm no Jedi," and it's like, oh, it's like, oh man.
He actually paused there for a second and almost went back like gave up the fucking dark side. Then he's like, no, nah, fuck this shit.
Yeah.
But do you guys think that if they can perfect the mocap to where it looks realistic? I mean, they have done it with other films, like the fucking in other films where they have people in mocap and it looks good. Do you think they can maybe replace a lot of the live action saber battles with this shit? You know, because all the lightsaber battles from the fucking games, from the fucking Clone Wars Rebels are, in my opinion, better technically than the actual live action stuff, you know?
That guy on the internet, whatever his name was, something 38, who did the reenactment of Obi-Wan and Vader from episode 4. I don't know if he used mocap or if he just used computer imagery, but to me that's that reenactment, that reinvention of that fight scene, that to me, I'd rather see that in episode 4. You know what I mean? Than two old guys just clonking sabers and doing an old man battle. Even though, I understand why it was done that way, because it was you could just try to justify it and try to put some kind of analysis behind it because of their age and this. No, man, it was the 70s. No one knew what it was going to be. You know, it was what it was. You know, it's the first one. So, but if they can do that, why not? I mean, to me, I love episode 3. I love Revenge of the Sith. To me, it's just as good as the original trilogy. And on certain days of the week, it's better than Return of the Jedi for me. But the one scene I hate in that movie is when Palpatine jumps from his desk and takes out 3 Jedi Masters in a matter of
spinning attack.
Yeah, no, not the spinning attack. I like the attack. I just don't like the fact he killed Kit Fisto and those other guys real quick. He was like John Starks versus the Knicks with like 20 seconds to go, hitting the game-winning shots and taking them out. You know.
You mean Reggie Miller?
Oh, I'm sorry, Reggie Miller. What did I say? John Starks? Yeah, Reggie Miller.
Starks.
You know what I mean? The Nick Killer. So, to me, if that fight scene was a little longer between the 3 of those Jedis before him and Wind went at it, I think it would have been a little bit better. I think it would have made Palpatine look a little bit stronger. But it just made those 3 Jedi Masters look like jabronis and jobbers. Yeah.
Yep.
So, if they're able to accentuate that with some kind of computer imagery or mocap, why not, man? Why not? There's only one thing better than lightsaber battles.
And that's more lightsaber battles.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So
I think, looking back at the old Star Wars movie and from 77, I don't think we should realize how big the lightsaber would become.
Exactly.
And I think he just kind of threw it in there. You know, the story really wasn't about the lightsaber at that point. It really didn't revolve much around that. It revolved around the Force and the hero's journey. And I think it was just in there because, hey, wouldn't it be cool if we had a laser sword? And I don't think he realized its potential and what it was going to do and how it was going to change and what he could do with it. Because if you look at it, it didn't do a ton in the first movie. I mean, it chopped off Ponda Baba's fucking head. Luke almost shoot himself in the fucking eye with it. And then we see Kenobi get, knocked off after 2 swipes. So not a ton was done. I think its potential was realized in the maybe to sell more toys, but in Empire.
Absolutely. I love the final battle, or the battle at the end between Ahsoka and Maul. I actually thought Maul was going to win. I was kind of upset he didn't win. I wanted him to go over because the poor guy never wins. He's like the Scott Hall of Star Wars. But
hey, Scott Hall was IC champ at one point.
Yeah, but that was when he was Razor Ramon. What I'm saying is, I thought he was like you said, like he was gonna cut the other side of the beam and she was gonna fall. And I thought, what's his name, Rex and the troops were gonna catch her and save her, and Maul was gonna do the take the powder and leave. So it was a complete swerve that he ended up getting caught. I kind of like it because now I got to see what's gonna happen in the next episode. Now, question. Now, I haven't seen anything for the next episode. But I'm going to throw this out there to you guys. You let me know. I'm suspecting that they're going to try to squeeze in because we know Obi-Wan is going to Utapau, right? During that time, Anakin is hanging out with the Chancellor, but that's only for one opera scene, right? Maybe he hangs out, gets a quickie from Padme, or a little Hansky, or a little BJ somewhere in the corner. But what if we get a scene next episode between Anakin and Maul when Maul's locked up? And he tries to warn Anakin about it, saying I had a vision or whatever. You guys think that may be even possible?
Well, they have to be in the same place in the same time. Sorry, Spiro. Which they have to explain that, which they haven't had any trouble explaining that ever in Star Wars. So, it's possible. I mean,
they caught him. They're going to bring him back to Coruscant.
Yeah. So the question is, what's that going to accomplish? Is that going to make Anakin angrier, or is that going to make him, think more about it? I don't know. Obviously, he can't kill him if he tells him that, because we know Maul's still alive later on.
What if Maul escapes, and before he escapes, there's an encounter, and we get to see Anakin versus Maul?
We're really shoehorning Maul into here, huh? I'm
just asking.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to have a lot of interaction because most of that stuff would have played into the last movie, into the Revenge of the Sith. So,
because Maul wasn't alive when Revenge of the Sith came out. He came back to life at Clone Wars season 4 or whatever.
No, clearly I know that, but that's the problem, is that therein lies the rub, is the fact that he's supposed to be dead, so there's no mention of him anywhere in the Clone Wars or anything that has happened. So it's not like Anakin is gonna go run off and fight him, and all of a sudden, that's missing from fucking episode 3. So that's why I don't think it's gonna happen.
Well, here's the thing, man. Right?
Unless
in Rebels, it didn't seem like Maul had any idea that Vader was Anakin, right?
No.
Okay. Listen, man. So what they've been doing with these shows is they've been filling in blanks. And Maul, the fucking awesome character that he is, the, top billing, merch selling, marketing tool that he is, they are trying to shoehorn him in wherever they can. I think it's awesome. The more Maul, the fucking better. So if he had no idea, okay, so he has the idea that Anakin is the fucking Phantom Apprentice, but he didn't seem to have an idea during Rebels that Vader was Anakin. Does that mean anything really? Not really, because they can do anything they want here. So,
but does he even mention Vader?
No, because he doesn't. He knows that in his vision, it's Anakin that's the Phantom Apprentice, but he doesn't see Vader. At least we don't think so.
Yeah, but I'm saying in Rebels, when he talks to Kenobi, he doesn't mention anything about Palpatine or Vader. No, but I know he doesn't even say anything about that. He just asks if Luke is the chosen one, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, when he's about to die, right?
Yeah.
I mean, all he says is that he's been replaced, and now he's a pawn. He says it in this episode, and in Rebels, when he's talking to Ezra, I don't think he ever mentions Vader or Anakin or anybody. He just says that he lost his spot and someone else has it, to that extent. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So he doesn't mention Vader's name or Anakin's name. They could play it off. I don't know. I mean, they can make it fit somehow. And if anyone can do it, it's Filoni. You know what I mean?
You know what, though, man? What I would like, though, to see is Anakin get Maul by himself. Interrogation scene, and Maul is fucking playing with him, toying on. Anakin is in there cocky, thinking that he's gonna get info. He's not at all intimidated by Maul, but Maul, being Maul, is gonna fuck up his fucking head and shit. Watch,
dude. I got it. This is how you fit it in. This is how you fit it in. This just popped into my head, and I'm gonna pop you guys with this interrogation scene, like you said. Yeah. He comes in, tries to get info, right? Very similar to Kylo Ren, right? Maul plays head games with him, cerebral assassin type of scenario, right? says something about his mother or something to that extent, or finds the memory of his mother, uses that to bait him even more and get him angry, maybe to try to have him kill Maul or whatever. This all goes down while in the movie. Remember in the movie when Anakin shows up to the briefing late? When Obi-Wan's giving like the briefing, he goes, "Sorry, I'm late. You know, I had some pressing matters that held me from coming." And he goes, "Oh, you know, the Outer Rim briefing, everything's going well." And then they go on their little walk, and he apologizes for, you know, being a little disrespectful by the council and this and that. And he tells him, you know what I'm saying, shit like that.
Yep.
Maybe. Well, no, because he already mentioned that Anakin was supposed to watch. Did he drop the line that he had to watch Palpatine then? Or was that earlier on in the movie? I don't remember. I gotta go back and watch it. But they could fit it in somehow like that. Because I have one scene when he shows up late.
It makes sense, man. Yeah.
When he shows up late to the briefing, maybe that could where he's trying to interrogate Maul. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yep. Possible.
I don't know.
I got one more thing I forgot to talk about. The Easter egg that they dropped inside fucking the Darth Maul briefing scene. Did you guys see that?
Darth Maul briefing scene?
When he was talking to his syndicate.
Oh, and he says you guys shouldn't be living in the sewers. Meanwhile, they're living in this, and they were living in the sewers. Oh man,
wait a minute!
No,
that was a great speech, though, man.
Oh yeah,
that was a great speech. I didn't think about the sewer thing. On the holograph, there were 3 individuals. Did you guys?
Oh yeah. There was the Pikes, the Black Sun, and Dryden Voss.
So it was Dryden Voss, but the other guy that was there was Prince Sisor from fucking the book that happened. Yeah, from Black Sun, the book that happened in between Empire and Jedi, where they had
Shadows of the Empire.
Shadows of the Empire, exactly.
Oh,
so,
shit.
Guess who's canon?
Not Revan.
I knew it.
Prince Sisor is canon before Revan. So they showed Prince Sisor, which I was like, oh yeah, baby, there he goes. One of my favorite characters in the.
I pop more for Dryden
Voss is on there as well. Yep. It's funny because I was at my parents' house yesterday and I was down in their basement. I have all my shit stored inside there, and I opened up this old school fucking Reebok box, and I'll send you guys a photo. In there was all of my Star Wars books that I read in the 90s, like fucking The Shadows of the Empire and the Jedi Academy and all that bullshit. Tales, Jabba's Palace, all not canon, but it's all there.
How is that Shadows of the Empire? I never read it.
What's up?
So I never read Shadows of the Empire. How was it?
You're breaking up. I can't hear you.
I never read Shadows of the Empire. How was it?
Oh, Shadows of the Empire was a great. It was kind of like, it was like a Star Wars light, but it was a great story. I enjoyed it. You know, they shoehorned this Dash Rendar guy in there to be the Han Solo that was missing in the story, but it was still good. I enjoyed it. I liked it.
Gotcha. So he was like Brand X Han Solo.
Basically, exactly. Fabuloso Han Solo. That
purple stuff to the Sunny D.
Exactly.
Nice.
Still good though. Still good.
Very nice.
And in one of I don't know if it's in episode 1 or no, I think it may be the special edition to A New Hope. They actually digitally entered Dash Rendar's ship into the Mos Eisley scene. You see it actually leaving when they're pulling up to Mos Eisley, the Outrider.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, you know, excuse me, in episode 3 in Revenge of the Sith, when they go back to Coruscant, you see the Millennium Falcon landing in Coruscant. But now they're saying it might not be the Millennium Falcon because it doesn't look like the way Lando had it with the attachment and all that stuff. You know what I mean? They're just saying it's probably another Corellian YT 1300 freighter. But who knows? Anyhow. So, then the episode ends, right? She looks up in the sky after they pull him into the ship, and the episode ends. So where do we go from here, boys? Quick, book it.
I'm liking the whole Maul interrogation scene. I think we're going to see that in the future, and we're going to see whatever else happens with the Mandos.
Did you like the line where Saxon calls Maul for help, and he goes, "Oh man, I cannot help you. Die a good death, Mandalorian," or something like that. He's like, fuck your couch, nigga.
Oh man, I'm with you, man. I definitely want to see, and I think we are going to see a Maul interrogation. Where we go after that, I don't know, but I'm curious to see what ends up happening to Ahsoka. You know.
Well, one thing that I heard, or I saw from a review for this, and I watched a couple of the reviews of the episodes just to see what other people pick up. One guy said he picked up that Rex didn't have the scar on the side of the head that he had in Rebels when they met him on the island with Wolf and Gregor, where they said they took their chip out. There's a little scar he has right here, right above his ear, and in this episode he didn't have it. So that means he still has his chip in. So next episode when they execute Order 66, you know what I'm saying? And what happens? Does he fight it? Does he try to kill Ahsoka? And Ahsoka says something to him and it wakes him up? I mean, because obviously this is all Manchurian candidate, nonsense that's going down because everybody turns on their generals. And the whole thing from last episode was the clones are all about loyalty. They respect loyalty. Well, loyalty don't mean nothing to them once this thing is activated. It goes right out the window. It's almost as Doc's professionalism looking in the camera during the show, right out the window. Don't count for nothing. You know what I mean? So,
listen.
Yeah.
I
So
just want you to know, I just want you to know that today I did an hour-long interview on Skype with my college, and I didn't put my paintbrush in my hand the whole time. I looked like this the whole time in the camera.
So what you're telling me? So what you're telling me is that your college is more important than the show. Way to be a fucking team player. Did they like episode 7 of freaking NFO? No. Our fans did.
Tell them to write in. Yeah.
They love to buy a coffee mug.
Do you guys think that Maul tries to tell them about that shit about Order 66?
I don't think he knows.
I mean, it seemed like he fucking did though, man.
It's talking about that he built the clone army.
Oh yeah,
Well, he just says that he had a vision of Skywalker as being the Phantom Apprentice, which he doesn't mention anything about the chip though, about them turning.
Didn't when he did the whole claw thing, didn't he fucking say something to the effect about how the fucking plan is all here inside here, like
Oh, I gotta go back and watch that.
You might be on. I could have sworn that he sort of discovered that there was some underneath there.
Interesting. Could you imagine if during that interrogation scene he tells them that the clones are going to turn on you, and they're like, yeah, okay, no problem.
They don't buy it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it'd be dope. But here's the kicker. He escapes. Well, no, he's captured. I mean, how does he get on Morabon? Or Korriban, or whatever the hell it's called now, where they find him on Rebels? How? So
I'm over here now.
Huh?
I'm over here now.
I'm over here now. You over here?
I'm over here now. You over there?
He's over here now. You better put that clip in.
What if during that? Okay, so we're all saying that it's gonna be Anakin interrogating Maul. What if Maul gets in his head, and Anakin starts to use torture and shit? He's fucking pissed off. Obi-Wan intervenes, and in that moment, Maul finds his opportunity to escape or some shit.
Yeah. What happens? Oh. What happens in the interrogation? He starts pissing off Anakin, and Anakin lets his guard down, and Maul senses that he is married, and he says something about his wife, and he gets crazy, like he's about to kill him. And because he goes crazy, somehow it ends up being a reason why he's able to escape. That'd be dope.
He opens the cell, he escapes.
Something.
Maybe
DJ shows up with the stutter.
What if fucking Maul?
The code breaker.
Wait a minute. At this point, does Anakin know that she's carrying babies?
Yeah. Yeah, because remember,
he doesn't know about twins, though, right?
No, he never knew. No, nobody knew about twins.
Right. So what if he tries to dig into his brain and he finds out about that, and that's what sets him off and shit, and
Could very well be, dude. There's a million ways they can do this. I mean, to be honest with you guys, the only time we've ever been this excited about Star Wars, I mean, obviously it's the movies, but it was Mandalorian.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like we were looking forward to obviously 7, 8, and 9, but it didn't feel like this. Like this is some of the best Star Wars stuff we're ever gonna get.
Yeah, I'm gonna go on a limb and say this was better than Mandalorian this episode.
Wow, really? Yeah.
I loved it.
I'm gonna tell you that the last 2 episodes, and if these last 2 are anything to go on, and the next 2 are just as good, these 4 episodes collectively as a film better than any Star Wars film.
Ooh.
To me.
Even better than Empire?
I don't know. I gotta see, man.
Well, put it this way, dude.
Wait.
We're not done yet.
Yeah, we're not done yet. We still got that cryptic thing from the guy from Lucasfilm saying, if you love it, we'll make more, whatever that means. I know for a fact I'd like to see a Maul series. Just an animated series of Maul on Mandalore, just kicking ass and taking names and doing something with the Pike Syndicate and Black Sun and Crimson Dawn, almost like a mafia type of show. That'd be dope. But what if this gets so over that they bring it to live action?
That'd be dope.
Would you? And then you could splice this in with episode 3 and make Revenge of the Sith and this thing like a big 4-hour like fan edit type of film. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I don't think they're gonna do that.
Nah, I don't think so either. But what gets me is like, you got something like this. You got the storyboards. You bring it to animation. No one says, hey, why don't we just make this into live action and put it out in the theater and make $1 gazillion? You don't think this movie, if they brought this out would make $1 gazillion?
It'll be insane.
I don't get it. I just don't get it.
Listen, they have many opportunities to make $1 gazillion, but they're not. Like we said, we sit here and speculate all day long. They could do great stories with the Mandalorian and with Maul, with this and with that, with a Luke Skywalker through the year story. Ain't doing any of that shit. They're sitting back. They're collecting their fucking. Now they're not collecting money because of the coronavirus, but they're sitting on a fucking gold mine. They need to fucking mine that gold mine.
You're right. All right. Well,
listen, man. Real quick. Sorry, man. Listen. You know what, man? During this whole thing, man, why don't they just fucking have people work from home and keep pumping out animated films, man? Fuck it. Just make films. Animated films. I mean, there's so many stories they can tell. They can even do the whole the what if thing. Take stories that are quote unquote no longer canon, turn them to fucking films, and that's it, man. Make that money. Shit, man.
So the money's out there.
It is.
You might be on something. But on this episode, scale of 1 to 10, what do you guys give it?
11.
Yeah. 10, but yeah, man, 21 and shit. Yeah.
I'm gonna give it a 9.7. Would have been a 10 for me if Maul would have won.
From the Greek judge.
All right, let them know where you can find you guys, because we were talking for an hour for an episode that's only a half hour long.
Find me at Dr. Dr. _Destroyo, DESTRROYO on Instagram, Alex Arroyo MD on Facebook, and Alex Arroyo Facebook, Alex Arroyo MD on Twitter.
See, if you paid attention, this wouldn't happen. Instead, you're painting Beast's balls again. Anyway.
Good old Beast. You can find me on Instagram, Spiro_A, Darth_Spyridon, Handsome Reaper on Twitter, Handsome Reaper Productions, and Rational Rage on Facebook. That's it.
I just got an email. Looks like somebody else has joined the Pop-It-On contest. I'll tell you guys off there. All right, so you can find me at Greek God Papadon on Twitter, Greek God Papadon on Instagram, Demetrius Papadon on Facebook. Catch us Tuesday. We're going to do the NFO show. Already some news has dropped that we're going to touch base on. I think we're going to have 2 guests on this Tuesday for sure. So I'm not going to mention any names or unless you guys want me to. But what do you guys think? You think we should drop some names, let them know what may happen or may not happen?
I don't know. One of them's gonna possibly be a friend of a show, Chris from the 501st. I don't know if you want to spoil the other one.
Well, you know what? I guess let's have to have him tune in and check out what the surprise guest may or may not be on Tuesday. He said he'll do it, but unfortunately, we don't know what life's going to bring us. So there's a good possibility, there's 1% chance that he may not make it. But he's definitely going to be on the show on Tuesday. He said, "I'm going to confirm with him Monday morning just to solidify everything."
I'm going to spoil it, guys.
No,
it's fucking James Earl Jones. That's right.
It's Carol Baskin.
That bitch, Carol Baskin.
Anyway, Tuesday you guys can catch us. We'll be recording. We'll do all our segments. You can catch us at @NFO_podcast on Twitter, New Force Order on Instagram, official New Force Order on Facebook. The website where you can buy merch is newforceorder.com. And the email where you can email us so we can talk shop. It's newforceorder@yahoo.com. We're still doing the Zori Bliss giveaway. What's the details on that, Doc?
We are. Find that image on the New Force Order Instagram page or Twitter page. Screenshot it, repost it, tag 2 of your friends, follow the NFO on either one of those platforms, and hashtag NFO giveaway, and we will be giving it away in May. Free of charge. Ship directly to your house.
We're also going to add something to this. You got to follow us on any one of those platforms, but also on YouTube as well. Yes.
All of them.
We're changing the rules because every time you think you got the answers, we change the questions, NFO style, bitches. Anyhow, so that's that. Thank you for giving us your time and your ears. And this has been another episode of the Clone War Report, brought to you by the New Force Order.
For life.
And that's just too sweet.